Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dale Clem, and I will be speaking to you on interfaith and medicine in the general sense, as others have specified more. What? So, I mean, like, there's a lot of different religions that have issues, per se, with medicine and their religions, but most notable are, there are a lot of Christian denominations that have, quote, issues. And then Hindus, Sikhs, and Muslims do as well. And then in that corner, the Amish actually have their own set of issues with, say, a heart transplant, because they believe the heart is the soul of the body. And, you know, taking out the soul and putting in a different soul just, you know, is not cool to them. And then, like I said before, the heart is the soul, according to Deuteronomy 12:23, which is for the Amish. And then a lot of them, like Hindus, they don't believe in like drugs and medical care, because they, in their religion, they have to die to live, if you will. They have to go through that rebirth cycle in order for them to truly have, quote, lived their lives. And then they also have a disapproval of many animal-based treatments, say like, you know, if we were to research different bones using like a cow bone or a pig's internal organs, because they're very similar to ours, fun fact, they just don't believe about that. And then for pretty much everybody, their primary method of healing should be and is prayer. And then this wonderful lady in the top right corner, she is a 65-year-old woman who happens to be a Jehovah's Witness. And after waiting 18 years, she actually went through a bloodless heart transplant, which is one of the solutions that we can do, because in order to do that, you either have to use or give a blood transfusion during or immediately after the surgery. But they were actually able to take out the hemoglobin from blood, which is the protein that's really, really important. And they used that instead. And then she's alive and well, and she's very happy with her new heart transplant. And then in another case, there was a court ruling of a young man, well, actually he was a kid. His parents refused to give him medical treatment, but he was going to die, so the higher court ruled that he needs the medical treatment in order to, you know, survive and be well against his parents' wishes. And then a final solution, not going off any articles, is just, you know, do what you want. Instead of following your faith, you know, just completely revolt against it and do what you think is best for you. Ah, yes. Although it might be controversial, I've added a discussion slide to see what you guys think about this. So if you were to have a heart transplant and you were a Jehovah's Witness and you couldn't, you know, accept blood, would you want to go through the bloodless transplant, or would you probably die?
How well researched is the bloodless heart transplant? Is that like a very recent thing that was developed?
The article was from a few years ago, and then I didn't find any other articles about it in general. But I mean, it was successful. The operation was successful. I mean, she's living, so hoorah to her.
I'd be. Oh, sorry. I'd be a bit nervous to get it, because I'd be worried about something bad happening to me.
That rarely happens in surgeries. The worst that's going to happen is you wake up from the gas, which hasn't happened to me.
Or I die.
Pish pish. Anybody else?
Well, I think on top of being able to, like, do it, I think there's just so many problems in healthcare where they had one lady who did it, but for most people that's not accessible because of, like, healthcare costs and everything else, and not all facilities are equipped to do that, and that brings off a whole other thing of fees and traveling. And so basically insurance and healthcare, I just don't think that's a widespread possibility.
But what if the operation was still in its experimental stage? and they paid for everything. You could
What are you
potentially
asking?
save your life and then be a basis of research for other people to live fuller lives.
Well, I mean, I'm not a Jehovah's Witness, so I don't.
True. I think the moral of the story is that our healthcare needs to be free and more accessible because, let's be honest, it's not that good. And being a future healthcare professional, I kind of feel bad working for the whole system. But oh well. And then that's it. Unless anybody had any other insight on issues, period, medically, religiously. Anything? No? And then that's just sources.
All right, thank you.